For most of us, our ideas kind of come to us randomly. You have a moment of inspiration, you spend ages filming, then even longer editing, and the results, well, at least you're having fun. But every now and then, something different happens. You know that you didn't put any extra time or effort into this video, so why did this one do so well? Most of the time, the thing that makes the biggest difference as to whether a video gets views or not is the idea behind it. Now, if you watched my channel before, then you know that I don't think that people should prioritize views over their own creativity. I'm not about that at all. But at the same time, if you are trying to grow a channel, then obviously you do have to consider what it is your audience actually wants to watch. So learning to come up with good ideas consistently is a really important skill. And when I say good, I don't mean the stereotypical over the top stuff like I swam across the Atlantic to meet Mr. Beast or I spent $10,000 on orphaned puppies. I'm talking about ideas that are relatable to the sorts of people that you want as your audience and that you yourself are also enthusiastic about making. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can come up with an endless stream of video ideas that you like and that your audience likes, so everyone's happy. But first of all, we've got to ask the question, what is a good idea? Every idea has a certain amount of potential in terms of how well it's going to resonate with the people who watch it, and how much of that potential is fulfilled is largely down to you and the creative choices that you make. People talk about videos blowing up, so this is kind of like a blast radius, if you like. If you pick a topic for a video, this is how well it could do. And that's going to be down to your choice of title and thumbnail, so how you package it, whether that video is a good fit for the people who usually watch your channel, the audience, are they going to like this particular topic? And it's also down to you and the way you present the ideas, the way you speak, whether you know enough about the topic to even be making the video in the first place. This all goes into whether it's a good idea for you to even make the video to begin with. If we take, for example, my last video, which was on the topic of YouTube growth, well, the potential for views is huge. Loads of people want to know how to grow a YouTube channel. So there was a lot of potential here. And for a channel my size, at the time it had 1,500 subscribers, 150,000 views is viral. That's very unusual for a channel my size to get a view count like that. And it shocked me as well. I wasn't expecting it. I'm convinced that one of the reasons that video did well is because I made a real effort to present that information in a very open and honest, down-to-earth way. But let's imagine for a moment that I didn't do that. Let's imagine I tried to go very clickbaity and over the top, and I decided to call it something like how to go viral with every video. Would I have still got the same amount of views? I don't think I would have done. I think it would have been more around here, a bit more of a flop. And the reason I think that is because it would have only have taken a little look at my channel to know that I don't have the authority to speak on that topic in that way. Most of my videos only really get a few thousand views, and I'm pretty happy with that. That's good in my book. They're reaching a slightly wider audience, but that's not viral. So if I'd have presented the information in that way, it would have come across as disingenuous, and people can tell when you don't really know what you're talking about, and they would have clicked off the video. And so I think had I been dishonest in that way, it would have been more of a flop. So I really don't think it's worth making out like you know more than you do. I don't think that works at all. It's much better to be honest and genuine, and then you're going to resonate with more people, which I feel is what happened with that last video. I hope. It was a good idea that I put effort into executing well and in a way that suited me personally. The key to coming up with lots of good ideas for me is to not overly stress yourself out by trying to be too original in the concepts you come up with. People are all pretty much the same, and we all care about the same stuff. This part of the drawing explains it. We all kind of care about having time, having enough money, our health, and social status, how people perceive us. And I don't say these things because I think people are shallow. It's just we increasingly live in a world where these things, the average person is starting to feel more insecure about. So naturally, topics that include these elements are going to get more views because we're all worried about that stuff. When you think about it, how many times have you seen in a video title, the fastest way to, how to do X for less than $100, or most expensive versus cheapest something? This is ruining your life, or this is damaging your health. Or even, like how to get 1,000 subscribers. This is like a social status thing. I want more people to like me and what I'm doing. All of these things are usually tied in somehow. I've not drawn it on here, but creators also often sprinkle in a little bit of fear of missing out into the title, a little bit of FOMO in there. I did that on my last one. I failed at YouTube until I understood this. You see that and you're like, well, what is it? What does this guy know that I don't? I don't want to miss out on that. And so you want to click it and watch. You will notice that as you look around on YouTube, a lot of the most successful videos hit on topics like these in the titles or in the thumbnails. It's really, really common for viral videos to contain some version of or combination of these things. So one of the best things that you can do to come up with your own original video ideas is to look at what's worked well for other creators and then put your own original spin on that idea. Now, you could do that by spending hours slowly going through YouTube and taking notes on the videos that are doing well, or you could use the tool that I've been playing around with lately, and that is the sponsor of today's video, Creative Fuel. Creative Fuel is an AI-powered Chrome extension that's designed to help creators come up with video ideas, write effective scripts, and find inspiration from other creators that they look up to. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't tell Creative Fuel this when they reached out to me, but I'm not usually the biggest fan of AI tools. So why have I agreed to partner with Creative Fuel for this video? Well, simply put, it's because their tool is designed not to take over the creative process, but to assist with it. If you're a creator who's just starting out or is still learning the fundamentals of how YouTube works and how to make good content, then this tool would be amazing for you, especially if you're looking to take YouTube beyond being just a hobby one day. To show you how it works, I'm going to use my new channel that I just made, the Doodler. The first thing we do is go to creativefuel.ai and add our new channel. It works out what it is you offer, what the topics you speak about are, and who your audience is likely to be, and you can kind of tweak all of these until you're happy. Then once that's all set up, you can install the extension and head over to YouTube. Once you're there, you'll immediately notice that there's this little flame icon and there's also a tab at the side. Clicking on these will give you the options to start generating ideas in different ways. There's also a new tab in the YouTube Studio that can help you to flesh these ideas out more later. To give you a quick example, if I go to a channel that I like watching and then I search through their popular videos, this one looks good, I can click the little flame icon and then start generating potential video ideas that may fit my channel if I was to reimagine that video. Once I've generated a few ideas, I can then select the ones that I like and then start working on them and planning out the videos. One feature that I think is really useful for people that are new to making videos is the option to auto-generate a script or an outline. I personally think it's better to go for the outline because then you can still actually practice writing the script in your own words, but each to their own. In just a few clicks and a few minutes, you've not only got a new video idea, but you've also started making some real progress on planning out what that video is going to look like. I think that I come up with my best ideas when I've got someone else there for me to bounce those ideas off and flesh them out with me, and Creative Fuel mimics that really, really well. It feels like a collaborative effort as I'm generating these ideas and refining them, picking out the best ones that I like and then going from there. It's just making me a lot faster, but allowing me to keep total control over what I'm doing. And I really like it. In real time, that whole process you just saw took me less than 10 minutes. And now I have a pretty good video idea that I can go and work with rather than still being sat around scratching my head wondering what I'm going to make next. But there is one very important thing left to consider when it comes to coming up with ideas for your videos, and that is knowing when to give up on an idea. This is probably one of the trickiest things to decide when you're making videos, and this is something that over the time I've been on YouTube, I've personally really struggled with. But I do think I've come up with a pretty good solution to it. I think that for an idea to be worth pursuing, it needs to meet at least one of two standards. And those are personal investment or passion. Is your heart in making this, or are you feeling bored at the idea? And also value to others. Is this going to be helpful or insightful or entertaining to your audience? Or is there not a lot in it for them? In an ideal world, every idea would land in this box. We'd love the thought of making it and it would be massively beneficial to the audience to watch it. Happy days, we don't have to think about it anymore. But that isn't every idea. Sometimes we know that there are things that if we were to make videos on them, the audience would get loads out of it and they'd really love watching it. But to us, it just seems a little bit boring, the thought of making that. And conversely, there might be ideas that we really feel enthusiastic and passionate about making, but we know the audience is just not going to care about it. Whereas I agree that I think most of the stuff we make, for the sake of just sustainability, should land in that green tick box where everyone's happy. I don't think that we should necessarily write off every other video idea that doesn't quite fit into that box. If we want to make something that only we're interested in from time to time, I really don't think that that's such a bad idea. If it's one video in a blue moon, the audience isn't going to run off and go watch someone else and never come back. You'll maybe just get a few less views, but you'll really enjoy yourself. And at the same time, we wouldn't want to be so selfish that we never make anything that we think's boring that would really benefit the people that regularly watch the channel, because it's good to give a little back. If 80% of the time we're making videos that fit into this green tick box where everyone's happy, and then the other 20% we bit and bob between these two, then it's okay for just one of those metrics to be met now and then. If you ever feel like you're trying to force an idea to fit in one of these boxes, odds are it should be in the red box. It should be something that maybe you throw out. And that can be really hard to know when to do. I actually had to do it while making this video. I had this whole segment planned where I was going to do almost like a comedy skit where there was another version of me that was an evil cowboy holding me hostage. It was as bad as it sounds. I spent a whole day making that segment only to look at it later and think, yeah, that's got to go. You might be thinking right now, oh, that sounds funny, Tom. It wasn't funny. It was funny to me, wasn't funny to anyone else. I literally played it to my wife and she just sat there like, a whole day of shooting and editing just straight down the drain, but it happens sometimes. A big thank you again to Creative Fuel for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to check them out, there's a link in the description. They do have a free plan that allows limited use of some of the features I showed you today, but if you want to unlock the full potential of what Creative Fuel has to offer, then I'd recommend going for the Blaze subscription, which is what I was using in the video today. And that'll give you unlimited access to pretty much everything that the app has to offer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
How about we play a little game? See how fast you really are, muchacho.